public that it's too big. It's too big to be able to govern the whole thing, when really democracy begins at the home, in the local, in the county, in the city. And he had said, the quote that I liked was, "Sure, we may have a disunited country if we believe in local home rule, but without local home rule, we won't have any citizens in order to give to the federal government." So in a way, it builds active citizens by having local folks and having all these sort of laboratories of democracy. It gives us, practice or what have you until they're able to be a great senator or be a great president.
Yeah, man, I think it's, I gotta remember which one it is. In the Federalist Papers, they talk about that. Madison talks about that too. I think it's Federalist number 10 or number 14. Differences between a republic and a democracy. And he kind of gets into that.
Yes.
How a republic is necessary in such a vast country, which of course at the time was only, from Georgia to Massachusetts.
Right.
And he said, kind of like what you said, how is one nation going to be ruled? What's such a massive nation to be ruled? You have to allow for, subsidiary for states to basically, I don't know, if you put it in the modern terms, I guess you'd say, you can't have one size fits all. The interests of Georgia are going to be different than the interests of Connecticut or Virginia.
Yeah.
Today, how much different is Colorado than, say, Florida or Washington, D.C. or California? Unfortunately, Colorado's becoming more like California every day, and I hope that doesn't keep on going. But anyway, I think that's why states' powers are so important. I won't say states' rights, I'll say states' powers, because states, of course, governments don't have rights.
Well, it makes it nice. No, wait, hold on, go back to that. That's states' rights conjures up the Confederacy too, but you're saying state power because the state doesn't have authority?
No, because states are actually never gave up their sovereignty.
Yeah.
But citizens have. My point being that citizens have rights. All rights lie with the citizenry.
I don't disagree with that, though. I don't know what you're saying. Just that I guess there's the status quo, there's what is, and then there's how I would like things to be. And so when I think of the state of the United States, or when I think of Colorado State, those look immortal to me. They look like they're going to be here forever. And then the next step is that they believe that they get a monopoly of state power, and that's the nation-state theory we've been operating on for quite some time.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's always possible. I could probably control the state of Colorado a heck of a lot easier. I can control the federal government. I can control, Pueblo much easier to control the state of Colorado.
Right. Right.
So I'd like more power to rest locally and less power to rest generally.
Okay, I do have a small bone to pick with you.
Okay.
I'm a political science major, so I feel like I'm coming from that perspective. But when you said it earlier today, you also wrote it down about how it's not a democracy, we're a republic. And I feel what you're saying, but I don't agree with you at all. Just hear me out for a second, and then, okay, so I believe, first of all, we're an empire. So a republic, it just means we just stay in our own country and we don't expand our borders. We don't have colonies. We don't have overseas adventures. So we're an empire. We're not a republic. We're also a federalist system. And since the majority of the people do not vote, let's just take the last election here in Pueblo last year, 65% of the people did not vote. So that's not a democracy. If anything, the majority of the people are not participating. So the bone I want to pick with is the word republic and democracy. To me, they're not exactly the same thing, but a republic is a representative democracy, so there's some consent of the governed there, whereas democracy is, ruled by everybody, ruled by the people. So what do you think about everything I just said?
Well, if you read the Federalist Papers and the Anti-Federalist Papers, the Federalist Papers mostly, if you read a good copy of them, they'll reference you back to what the founders, what was on their mind. They studied, they studied Greece, they studied some of the Dutch pure democracies, where, basically, if 51% of the citizenry wanted to enslave them at 49%, there wasn't anything stopping them. Now, in a republic, in a constitutional republic, I really should clarify, a constitutional republic, there are certain rules where the role of the government is to protect everybody's rights. You know, it's the right of the individual that comes first and foremost. And it doesn't matter if 99% of the people vote to enslave him. He cannot be enslaved because there are certain rules. There's a constitution written that says, no, you don't have that power, government. You don't have that power, 51%. You're not allowed to violate his natural rights. He has the right to his life, his liberty, and his justly acquired property. And there's no law, there's no legitimate law that you can do to deprive him of that unless it's through due process of law, where he gets his day in court. He gets to face his accusers. He gets a trial by jury. You gets to tell him what he's been accused of.
It sounds like you're saying that the way you when you talk about a republic is that it restricts the power that the state has to sort of do injury, but if anything, it's there to actually protect the rights and freedoms that we all have, not just the rights and freedoms in our Constitution, but even our natural rights too.
Especially our natural rights, yeah. Because it sounds like you understand. Hey, has a crime really been committed? If somebody's either their life, liberty, or property has not been violated, was there really a crime?
No.
Like we get back to the drug law. Is it really a crime if you want to go smoke pot?
No,
is it really a crime if somebody wants to? If I want to build a garage onto my property without a permit, is that really a crime? What's been violated?
You build a garage. You're a criminal.
I know. So if you get back to what natural rights are, natural rights are nothing more than, hey, I have a right to my life. I have a right not to be thrown in a rape cage. I have a right to my liberty, which means I have a right to live my life any way I choose, as long as I'm not hurting anybody. I have a right to my property, which means I have a right to do with my stuff or my land however I want, as long as I'm not hurting anybody or I'm not hurting somebody else's property. I'm not infringing on their ability to do exactly the same thing.
Would you agree that Federalist Empire, would you agree that's how the United States is set up?
Well, it is now, unfortunately. After 1913, it sure went that way fast.
I think it was after 1898. The first major colonies we got was after the Spanish-American War. We got Guam and Puerto Rico.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
But 1913,
it's a disaster.
No, 1913 is important too, because that's he's the worst. Woodrow Wilson.
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
So,
have you ever read The Creature from Jekyll Island?
No. What's that?
It's a great book. It tells the full story behind how our banking system came to be, the Federal Reserve, and the players, the senators who were in power at the time, how they got this pushed through Congress, and how it grew to be what it is today. Basically, it talks a lot about 1913. That's the year the Federal Reserve Act was passed.
Right.
That's the year that the federal income tax was passed. That's the year that we lost the 16th and 17th. The 16th and 17th Amendment were passed. So we also took a big hit on federalism. And it goes through the story from about 1913 up to how that caused the Great Depression, and even beyond that to World War I, World War II, and how really banking interests have funded the military industrial complex, which tend to fund, actually, if you really look into it, both sides of every war.
Yeah, that's how lobbyists do anyways. They just hedge their bets and bank on both sides.
Yeah. Man, it sounds like you are really educated in this stuff.
Thank you, man. Same to you.
Yeah, we got to stick together. There are. That's the amazing thing is there are little pockets of us out there, and the hardest thing is to get us all connected. And I think during the Ron Paul campaign, a lot of that was happening. People were getting connected to who thought that way, and they thought that they were the only ones, you know, in a 3-county area who thought that way.
Well, just look at your look at your race. I'm sorry, go.
We just, if we can just, you know, kind of coalesce. Michael Stapleton and I have talked about trying to see if anybody would be interested in starting a county Libertarian Party for that very reason. So some kind of beacon that people can come to.
As of right now, I would join a Libertarian Party because I don't see an opposition party. Look at your race right now with Leroy Garcia. He's the establishment Democrat. Where's the Republican? No Republican even ran. Where's the Green? Where's anybody else? So there is one. You're running against him, but let's look at the county politics. We got the sheriff running. He's a Democrat running unopposed. You got a surveyor. You got an assessor. You have a couple other ones, state positions, a treasurer. That are running against nobody. I think only the coroner is the competitive race with the county officials. So even if I leaned more left than right, so I would think of myself as more of a Democrat than a Republican, how do we have a check on our politicians if nobody runs against them? How am I supposed to, assume that I'm just supposed to assume that they're going to be good people? So I guess I want a democracy that actually functions, and I don't see an opposition party. And so one of the most important principles, I think, in a functioning democracy is that we have an opposition party. And we agree on so many different things. So just if we were able to get a Libertarian Party started, and then also the way that Colorado picks their nominees through assembly, it's so much easier. I wish my friends here would have told me about how easy it is to just put people on the ballot by assembly. By assembly, if we just have 20 of us, then we could just raise our hand and now we're on the ballot. But if we have to do it by petition, then we have to go run around like our heads cut off and try to get 2,000 signatures per county and every whatever it is now. But
that's a lot of time that could be spent putting out the message instead of going out and pleading for signatures.
So I would
join. That's music to my ears. I'm really glad to hear that.
Here's what I think about the Libertarians. I think you guys are half right, and so I guess my thing is with the homeless. I hear more love and concern out of you guys, but I guess I believe in social spending to the point where their life is guaranteed, and then afterwards I'm all about the free market. But when it comes to personal freedom, when it comes to just even prostitution, crack cocaine, bleach, if you want to drink, sweet tea with too much sugar in it, that's your life. You can do that if that's what you want to do. So that's and that's weird that that again, like kind of the far left and the far right. So we probably, maybe it's not left and right, maybe it's up and down. You think there's something to that?
I think it's authoritarianism and liberty. That's where I see the real spectrum.
Freedom.
Today.
Man, I probably could talk your head off for forever.
Well, it's been great talking to you. I tell you what, and we'll have to continue this conversation.
Yes.
And, if Mike and I, it probably wouldn't be until after the November election's over, but he and I have been talking about what we need to do to start a county. Called the county affiliate, the County Libertarian Party.
Yeah, I like Michael.
And if there was more than just 2 of us, that would make things a heck of a lot easier.
Yeah, maybe 3, and then maybe 4, then maybe 5.
Yeah. So if you're interested in helping us out with that, then if we can probably get a core of 5 or 10 people,
sure.
then we could probably have enough to really kind of kick things off, get stuff planned out to where it's not going to, you don't want to start something where it's just going to kind of peter off. You want it to be strong and just grow from there.
That's Margaret Mead. Margaret Mead said that the only thing that changes, the small committed group of people are the only thing that can change the world. So.
Yeah. Well, man, thanks for reaching out. I really appreciate it.
All right. Is it all right to give you a call, I guess, from time to time whenever I feel like it, talk about this and that?
Oh, yeah, you bet.
All right. Yeah. Mr. Pickerill, thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
All right, bye.
Bye.